create a new folder, lesson 3. I'm going to create a new file called variables.php. Every PHP file starts with the opening tag. A variable is simply a container that stores a value. In PHP, every variable starts with a $sign. Here, I'm creating a variable called name and storing the value Ali inside it. Then I use echo to print it on the page. Make sure Laravel is running and refresh the page. Now, I change the value to John and refresh the page. As you can see, the output changed, but I didn't rewrite the whole logic. This is the main power of variables. You can change the data without changing the structure of your code. Let's create a few more variables: name, age, and city. To print them in a clean way, I use the dot symbol. In PHP, the dot is used to join text and variables together. This is called concatenation. You can also put the variable directly inside double quote like this. Save and refresh the page. Both methods are correct and you'll see both in real project. A few important rules for naming variables. They must start with a $sign. They can't start with a number, and you can't use spaces or dashes. Also, variable names are case sensitive. It's always better to use clear name. Now, let's talk about data types. A data type tells PHP what kind of value is stored inside the variable, and this really matters. Here are the main types you'll use all the time. A string is used for text. Text values must always be written inside quotes. Integer. An integer is a whole number. If you put quotes around a number, PHP will treat it as text, not as a real number. This can cause problems later when you try to do calculation, so numbers should not have code. Integer rule: real number, no quotes. Float. A float is a number with decimals. For example, a price. Just keep in mind that floats are not always perfectly prices, especially when working with money. We'll talk more about that in future lessons. Boolean. A Boolean can only be true or false. We use Booleans to make decisions in our code, like checking if a user is logged in or if a product is available. Null. Null means the variable exists, but it currently has no value. This is different from an empty string or zero. var_dump is a very useful function that shows you both the value and the type of a variable. You'll use it a lot while debugging. Here I'm checking all the different types with var_dump so you can clearly see how PHP labels each one. Now let's put everything together and build a simple user profile page. I'm storing the data in variables at the top. We're going to create 5 variables: name, job, city, age, and is logged in. Name, job, and city are strings, so their values are written inside quotes. Age is a number, so we don't use quotes. And is logged in is a Boolean type. And then we'll use those variables inside HTML to display the information. This is the same pattern you'll see in real PHP projects. The last line uses ternary operators, which is a short way of writing a simple if condition. We'll cover this in more detail later. Title: User Profile. In body, open p tag. Open and close PHP tag. Name, echo, called variable name. Job, echo, called variable job. Age, echo, called variable age. City, echo, variable city. logged in echo $sign is logged in variable. Save and refresh the page. This way is cleaner and easier to read. Here we are using the ternary operator to check whether is logged in is true or false. If it's true, we display yes, and if it's false, we display no. And as you can see, in the browser, we can see the data types and their values. So this helps us understand what type of data each variable contains and what value it holds. Now, let's create a separate file called constants.php to store our constant. Inside this file, a constant using the define function. Define double quote sites underscore name, comma, double quote my PHP website, and semicolon. A constant is a value that we define once and don't want to change later in our code. In this example, site name stores the name of our website. Save and search localhost lesson 3 constants.php. Great job. A common convention is to write constant names in uppercase letter. If the name contains multiple words, we can separate them using underscores like site underscore name. This makes constants easy to recognize and understand when reading our code.